What's up, you guys? Matt Jablonski here with the Point of Change. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope you guys had a good week. Today, ladies and gentlemen, is my recovery date. A day that gives me total validation to be a conceited, egotistical prick and talk all about myself. Pretty much a day to just be self-congratulatory and just sit over here and think about how much my poop don't stink and just be all up about myself. Gives me a total excuse to be just do. I'm getting this live video pulled up over here. Before I even look at that, though, where was I? Get back into this. Oh, it's gone. Never mind. I was going to talk about something else, but whatever I was looking at is gone now. Morning, guys. Lynette, I'm so freaking proud of you. Thanks for allowing me to be a part of your journey. Oh, thank you, Lynette. Tina, congrats on 5 years. Thank you, Tina. Heidi, howdy, and congratulations. Good morning, Heidi. Thank you for being here. Jax, good morning, brother. Congratulations yesterday, man. Charles, that's a huge accomplishment. Congratulations. Thank you, Charles. Danielle, good morning, Maddie. Very proud of you this morning. Thank you, Danielle. Jessica Chandler, congratulations, 5 years. Thank you, Jessica. Paul Martinez, congrats on 5 years. Thank you, Paul. Good morning, Johnny, and thank you, man. Lori, good morning. Thanks to everybody. Holy crap, man. I tell you what. Karen, congratulations. You deserve to pat yourself on the back. I shall do that. Don't you worry. If there's one thing you can count on, it's me taking that opportunity to pat myself on the back. Big Pete, hello from Galveston County, Texas, over on YouTube. Good morning, Pete. Mike Ward, good morning, Maddie. Good morning, Mike. Morning, Curtis. Congratulations, Maddie. Thank you, brother. And thank you, Mike. Lori, congratulations, Matt. Thank you, Lori. Matt Holzum, where's the confetti cannons? Oh, Caitlin brought that up yesterday. I don't have any confetti cannons. She couldn't find a number 5 balloon, so we're stuck with, this is the celebration we get, guys, right here. Oh, somebody is tapping at my door. I don't have enough cord to get to the door. Dun, dun, dun. Hang on, I got to unplug you. It's going to sound all weird. Good morning, Tater Tot. Good morning. I suppose I can leave this open, huh? That way you can come and go as you please. Come here. You want to say good morning to everybody? Everybody loves the Tater Tot. Oh, she's been I was just talking with Caitlin last night. Hang on, let me plug back in here. Caitlin was asking me last night some random questions, like what has been your favorite moment in recovery and stuff like that, and what are your goals for the next 5 years? And we're sitting conversating about that, and one of the big things I've been thankful for in my recovery is that little dog right there and everything she's done for me. And it's crazy what pets can do for you, and how they can really set goals. And she was a big driving force when my dad passed away, and I knew my little dog was up north, kind of getting shuffled around between houses. She lived with one of my brothers for a little while after Dad passed away, and then she moved to another brother's house for a little while. There was a few months in between when my dad passed away, and after that, like when my dad passed away, I accepted Jesus. My life went freaking skyrocketing, and it only took me a few months after that to get my first apartment. But a big driving factor in me pushing so hard to get that first apartment and to make sure it was that they accepted pets was my little dog down here and making sure that she had a place, Deborah, good morning, Maddie. Congrats. I'm so freaking proud of you. You're such an inspiration and a blessing. Thank you so much, Deborah. Josh and Lori, it's cloudy and rainy here. Barely have signal. Damn. Well, I'm glad you're here. Mike, love the Pac-Man pants. Right on, brother. Oh, yeah, I showed you guys that I was wearing Pac-Man pajamas. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, but check this out. Check this out. It gets better, bro. You got Pac-Man, and then we got a Captain America sock over here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And we got Iron Man on this leg, bro. Yeah, that's right. That's what level of nerd we're rolling with over here. All right. Let's see. Pam, great morning, Maddie Jablonski, and congratulations. Thank you, Pam. Abby, congrats on your time clean. You're an awesome person. Thank you, Abby. I appreciate that very much. Janet McClanahan, congratulations on 5 years. Thank you, Janet. Josh and Lloyd, congrats, brother. Love you. Love you too, man. Thank you. Elizabeth, congratulations. Thank you, Elizabeth. Pam loves Tay Tay and Sissy Girl too. Aw, good. Lynette, I'm digging the PJs too. Aren't they awesome? Aren't they awesome? Those are great. I love my Pac-Man pants and I love my Marvel socks. They're not as comfortable as I wish they were. They are a little, they're made out of that sheer fabric, you know what I mean? So they're a little weird, but they're just awesome. They're awesome. I love my Marvel socks and I love to mix them up. I don't like to wear the same ones. You know what I mean? I like to have one Iron Man and one Captain America, or one Thor and one Hulk, you know, and I got to mix it because I'm kind of a child, and in a weird way, they make me feel like I have superpowers when I wear different ones, okay? It's one of those things in my brain that I like to give to my brain. Dresden, congrats, Maddie. Get it. Almost 2 years myself. Right on, Dresden. Holy crap, time flies, right? Noah, good morning. Congratulations. Thanks, Noah. I appreciate you, brother. George, congratulations, brother. Thanks, George. I appreciate that. Jack says, kid at heart. Definitely a kid at heart. Jessica, life is too short to match socks. Right on. I can appreciate that viewpoint. I used to be a matched sock kind of guy. I used to fricking go through the whole laundry, get every sock, get every pair, like matched to the brand and to the fricking color, and folded everyone into a pair and then stacked them in my dresser. And those days are long since past. Okay, I realized a long time ago that I prefer to just go poof into a big drawer, and there's my sock drawer. There you go. Just grab what you can. Like, saves a lot of time. Life is too short to fold socks, guys. Curtis, I can't believe I'll have 3 months on Sunday, Maddie. Holy crap, Curtis, that's awesome, man. Congratulations to you. I mean, well, no fronts. No fronts. You got to earn these next few days, but you freaking keep doing what you're doing and you'll get there, man. Lynette, it's my superpower and I do what I want. Right on, Lynette. Andrea, woohoo, awesomeness. Hell yeah, Andrea, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate that. Shayna, good morning, Maddie, and big congrats. Keep kicking ass. Thank you, Shayna, and you keep kicking ass out there. Good to see everybody. Ugh, I didn't get the notification. Oh, you're all right. We're only 10 minutes in. You're good. You're good. Just come on in, throw some hearts up. If you haven't reacted to this video yet, hit that reaction and share this video out if you wouldn't mind. Did I just see a bug? I sure did. Sure did. This is what I get for allowing Caitlin to bring wildlife into my room. She brought a plant in here, and there are bugs crawling all over this plant. We have an infestation, okay? That's what I'm telling you. I knew it. I knew it. Should have made her keep her plants downstairs. No, Caitlin can put whatever she wants in my office, but now I got bugs, yo. Now I got bugs in my office because I allowed a plant. You see what happens? You see what happens? They say they're making stuff prettier. Shayna, you're cracking me up with the bug. Well, it's the middle of winter. Why do I have bugs? I don't understand why. You shouldn't have a bug in the middle of winter. But sure enough, I sure friggin' do. I got a whole bunch of them over here, dude. You want some bugs? I'll send you some bugs. Apparently I have a surplus. Didn't even know that I had a stockpile of bugs over here. Sabrina's got 10 months today. Right on, Sabrina. Hell yeah. Keep kicking addiction's ass. Jax, Maddie and the Roaches. Hey, that's my new band right there. That's the name of my new band. It's a bug tree, says Josh. Angie, Maddie, I'm so freaking proud of you. 5 years is amazing. Thank you, Angie. Oh, man, thank you guys so much. Today has been a very emotional day so far. I've already been on an emotional roller coaster of just being so thankful for everything that I have today and being so thankful to have said goodbye to those years of addiction and to be the man that I am today, but to know also that I am the man I am today because of those years of addiction, you know? The duality of recovery and all these realizations. I'm so thankful for the past, for the path that I'm on, and for the past as well. Recovery has taught me things that, I don't know how can I say this. I mean, I definitely learned a lot from my active addiction as well. It's not like there was no lessons there. There was definitely a lot of value and a lot of lessons that were learned backwards, that's for sure. But I definitely learned a lot of stuff in my active addiction even. But in recovery, you don't just learn stuff, you learn how to live stuff. You don't just hear about, making sure that tomorrow's a better day. You actually do it. You actually make sure that tomorrow's a better day. You don't just talk about getting clean, you actually get clean. You don't just talk about keeping a job, you actually keep a job, It's all about actually putting the work in behind the words, because for years I had the words down. Anybody can anybody can talk the talk. It takes a real person to walk the walk, and there was years in my active meth addiction where I was doing nothing good, wasn't looking for a job, wasn't looking for a place, wasn't looking to do better. I wasn't doing any of those things, but I was telling everybody that I was. Running around shooting my mouth off about a new job opportunity or this or a new car or whatever. When really, no, I didn't. I didn't have my license back. No, I didn't have a job. No, I wasn't buying a cool car. I lived on lies, man. I lived on lies. My life had just become a lie towards the end. And recovery is all about learning the truth and living the truth, Not so much about learning the truth, because even in your active addiction, you know that what you're doing is wrong. On some level, you know that the shit you're doing is wrong. And on some levels, you even know what to do to stop. You even know what you need to do to get better, or what you need to do to fix your life, or what it is that you're supposed to be doing right now, I shouldn't say fix your life, but to get yourself back on the right track. You know what you need to do to get it done. But in addiction, there's so many blinders on, and there's so many, your brain is so rewired and so mixed up. And then on top of it, you have the fact that, like myself, I was just a kid. I was 17 when I started smoking meth. I look back, I'm 35 now. I'm like, man, I was just a baby. And I started smoking methamphetamine. I didn't even know what the world was about when I started using it. It's not about started using it and then, I lost everything. For me, it was I started using it and then I never gained anything. I never even started my journey forward until I was 30 years old and finally stepped away from crystal meth, I did gain a few things, but everything I gained, I lost because of the drugs. And most of what I gained was ill-gotten, it was all with drug money and lies and deceit and manipulation. And I was before the drugs, I was always very disconnected. Even as a kid, I was very disconnected from family and from love and from God. I was just I didn't know what to believe in anything. And I had a really hard time even talking about reality and real things or spiritual things oh man, my hair. Oh man, the camera's backwards. I don't know which way to go with this. I got my hair cut yesterday, if you haven't noticed. Nobody said anything about my nice new haircut. I don't know. It's all right, but I feel like I kind of look like that bad guy from The Fifth Element, like I got a comb over or something. I don't know what to do with it yet. I'm still learning how to live with hair here. So anyway, that was kind of my youth in a nutshell there. I mean, I had a good childhood, but for myself, like, I was very disconnected from it all. Um, my mom, my parents were both there for me technically. I mean, my dad really wasn't around because he was an over-the-road truck driver, so he was gone for a couple weeks at a time. But he was always there on the weekends. He was always a phone call away, and he was always there when he was supposed to take us and stuff like that. So, I mean, he was there. But yeah, they were divorced when I was pretty young. My mom was always kept a roof over our house, or a roof over our head, a roof over our house, and food on the table. I had a good upbringing for the most part. I even say that I kind of grew up in Mayberry. I grew up in small town Wisconsin up north, 315 people in the town I grew up in. And but that's kind of where meth thrives, is small towns in America, and so yeah, years. I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't even think nothing about drugs. I think I had my first beer when I was like 14 or 15. Yeah. So I mean, it wasn't like it was a prevalent thing in my life at all. Drugs or any like addiction or anything like that wasn't very prevalent in my life. And that I think that may even have contributed to the fact of me becoming a drug addict, was because I didn't have many examples to look at and see what it does to people, but who knows? That's nature and nurture and all that stuff. Who knows why I went the way I did and everything. But I think a little bit of everything plays a factor in it, And I think part of that, just not having any family members that were lost in addiction, for me, that kind of, I didn't have that to look at and say, oh, don't do that, but it was a beautiful home, and I'm very thankful for my childhood. I'm very thankful that I grew up in a small town in the middle of nowhere, out in the woods in Wisconsin, riding bikes and frickin' running through cornfields and walking down dirt roads and picking dandelion heads and stuff like that. Like, memories like that are awesome to have. I'm very thankful for my childhood in the Northwoods of Wisconsin, definitely. But then when I was 17, I was in high school. I'd recently lost my virginity. Was already smoking weed and smoking cigarettes, and then I was working at the movie theater. And then my girlfriend and I at the time got in a fight. And I was, 17 years old, working at a movie theater, smoking cigarettes, lost my virginity. I thought I was a man, I'm a grown-ass man. And I got mad at her, and I left, and I went to the party house, and when I left, I told myself that I was going to go do something different. I didn't know boo about drugs back then. I smoked weed and I drank at parties. That was it. I didn't know nothing about pills, about drugs, about any of it, So I went to the party house, but I knew there was this dude, at the party house that lived there, and I knew he did something different. I didn't know what he did, but I knew he did something different. So I went there and I went looking for that dude, and I found that dude. He was running around like crazy, checking all the windows and looking out the blinds and being a crazy meth head, And I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, nothing. And I was like, I want to do nothing. And he was like, no, you don't. And I said, yes, I do. And he was like, all right, come with me. And I went in a little room, and he busted out a piece of foil, and he had a little vial, and did the whole thing, gave me the pen tube. This was back in the days of foilies. Gave me a pen tube and did the damn thing. And I was skyrocketed, man. I was so freaking high. And I didn't even know, because all I had done was drink and smoke weed at this time, I didn't even know drugs could do this to you, okay? I had no idea that drugs could make you feel more alert and more awake. All, weed and alcohol both kind of are, they're downers. They don't bring you up like that. They don't send you through the freaking ceiling with energy. All of a sudden, you're given the energy of a baby that has the energy of two babies. Like, it's just freaking insane, and it hits you like, ow. And And it was like this mind-blowing experience of just, holy crap, I feel amazing. I have so much energy. I'm happy. I want you to be happy. Like, it was just energetic, freaking cleaning the room and talking like crazy. And we went out to a party at a cabin and we did a whole bunch more meth. And it just, it didn't explode in my life at that time, but that night, was that night. That was the night that the devil really, was teasing me in. I didn't see all the destruction yet. For me, I was literally like thinking in my head, like, wow, I feel great. My eyes aren't red. I could party all night long. I'm hanging out with all my friends. Like, this is great. This is amazing. Like, the devil wasn't allowing me to see, I didn't see people freaking, dying or anything that night. All I seen was fun and, great time and all kinds of cool music and cool people and the glitz and glamour of it all I seen, and then, the destruction that is addiction doesn't come out until later. For some people dive right in. For me, my addiction was a slow burn. Like that was an introduction to it. But I knew, I was a smart kid and I seen the meth posters and stuff like that. So I knew what we were doing was pretty freaking wrong. I was like, ooh, this is not the stuff to dabble with. So I wasn't seeking it in the beginning, but if it was coming around, I wasn't saying no either. And that started when I was 17. And it was kind of a weekend thing in the beginning, but slowly over time, as things went wrong in my life, which a lot of them were attributed to the meth use, over time, it just got worse and worse and worse. And I even made a few attempts to get away from it. But a big thing about addiction is if you're not in the mindset to get away from it, you're not going to get away from it. Like, even if you think like, oh, I'm gonna move over here and get away from the drugs that I'm doing, and you move to a new town, yeah, you can break free pretty easy, but your mind will, if you're not totally in it to actually really full on stay away from those drugs, the drugs will find you again and they'll come in. And if you have any inkling to continue using them, you will. So you have to make sure to continue building. I shouldn't say make sure, you don't have to make sure it's solid right in the beginning, but make sure you continuously build upon your recovery. Make sure you're continuously developing it and continuously walking this line forward. Because if you just sit in stagnant recovery or just decide to abstain from your drug of choice, and not improve your life and not build on something, you're just asking to find the drugs again and to get bored. And it's you gotta focus on doing better. You gotta focus on doing better, and a lot of times it really sucks, but but we push through this recovery because of this life that we want. So yeah, let's get into the better part of this story. All right, so February 3rd, 2017, let's take the clock back 5 years ago today. Where was I? I was high out of my mind in Northwoods of Wisconsin, I believe in Hawkins, hanging out with a couple friends of mine. And I can't remember why I was heading back to my house, but we were heading back to my house. Oh, I'm kind of thankful that the memories fade over the years. You know what I mean? It's so nice that that's 5 years ago now and that the memories are a little foggy. Heading back towards my dad's place, and we pull up and there's frickin' 3 squad cars in the driveway and the house is getting raided. And I'm like, oh my God, don't pull in. And he's like, I gotta pull in. He figures they already seen us and he's slowing down. He's like, I gotta pull in. And I'm like, don't pull in, go. And so he goes, he hits the gas, but he was right. The cops seen this going on. So they seen us and they knew that they knew who we were and they knew where we were headed. It's small town Wisconsin. They know all the cars. They know where you're going. They know where you hang out. So they came to his house. We went back to his house and ran inside, and I freaking, kind of funny, I went to hide in the basement, and I freaking grabbed the door, and the door handle broke off in my hand, so I couldn't go in the basement. I was like, damn. And I was like, where do I go now? And he's like, go in my room and hide. So I ran in his bedroom and I hid under the covers on the bed. I'm a genius. I can't see you. You can't see me, right? So the cops come in. He, of course, to his credit, I will say, hey, he didn't co-sign my bullshit. But when you're in a life of addiction, you're supposed to lie for each other. He didn't lie for shit. He was like, "Come on in, officer." Oh man. Well, he did. He said I wasn't there, but he invited him right in, and then when they were in the living room, his daughter was kind of freaking out a little bit. So his wife was like, I'm going to put her down, and took their daughter in the bedroom where I'm hiding. Well, when you have cops in your home, they don't allow you to walk around your house and go places, because that's how people come back with guns. You know what I'm saying? So they don't allow you to just go into the other room while they're standing there. They follow you over and make sure and watch you and see what you're doing when you go in that room. So she opens the door to put the baby down, and then the cop and I pulled the blanket down so I could see what was going on when the door opened. I don't know what I was thinking. I was messed out. I was messed out of my mind, all right? I wasn't thinking. The door opened. I pulled the blankets down. The cop shines his flashlight in my face. He goes, what do we have here? And I right away threw the blankets back over my head. And he's like, get out of here, man. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. And in my methed out delirium, I thought, I would have swore to God, I had a meth pipe and a bag of meth in my hands. I didn't have anything in my hands. I had nothing in my hands, you guys. But I was just that gone that when he was yelling at me to show me your hands, I could have swore I was holding on to a meth pipe and a bag of meth, and I did not want to show him my hands. So he's screaming at me, probably gun drawn at this point. I can't tell you for sure because I was so methed out. There was a flashlight. It was just all, and it's 5 years ago now, but it was just so flashy. I can't remember, but I hear him screaming, show me your hands, show me your hands. And I'm like, not trying to show my hands. And then he freaking grabs me by the boots and just yanks me out of that bed, man. Just whoop, I was just on the floor with a cop on top of me so fast. He freaking cuffed me and dragged me out and threw me in the cop car, and he throws me in the back seat, and he's like, you know what this is about? And I was like, yeah. All I could think, honestly, and probably attribute this to the meth as well, all I could think was I had missed probation again, because I did. I missed probation all the time when I was a meth head. All the time. So I figured it was because I was delinquent on probation again. So he was like, you know what this is about? And I was like, yeah, I missed probation. And he goes, not exactly, and slams the door. And I was like, oh no. And now my brain starts to reel, and now all of a sudden I remember, oh yeah, you're a criminal and you do bad things, and there's a whole list of stuff they might have freaking found, man. Now I'm realizing that they might have found the gun that I stole. They might have found that, all this stuff. And yeah. I had a lot of stolen property at my house. I'm like, oh man, oh no, what did they find, So anyway, I get hauled off to jail. I sit the first night in the tank. I don't really remember that night. I don't really remember the first 2 weeks, really, of being in jail. But I do remember them waking me up because a detective was there. And I come down to talk to this detective, and he's like, do you know that there's been, this is where it gets a little tangled, but follow me here. He says, do you realize there's been some cabin robberies in the area? No. The shotgun that I stole a shotgun from my meth dealer, like from his house, stole it while he was in jail, went over to his house, stole a shotgun, sold that shotgun. The meth dealer got out of jail. I took the money that I got from his shotgun and went back and bought more meth from him when he got out of jail. Ballsy stuff. But anyway, I'm assuming that that was what I was figuring, was that's the gun that's talking about. But then when he brings up these cabin robberies, I had no idea that there was cabin robberies. Didn't hear a word about that, right? So he's like, are you aware that there's been cabin robberies in the area? And I'm like, no, I wasn't aware of that. And he's like, oh, well, one of the cabins that got robbed is your friend Tony. And Tony was like my best friend from when we were little kids, dude. Like, still one of my best friends today. And he's like, your friend Tony, his family cabin was robbed. And I didn't know that. I was like, oh man, that sucks. And he's like, yeah, they said it was you. And I was like, in the moment, I was pissed because back then, me and Tony weren't on speaking terms back then because we were meth heads back. He was a meth head too, and we had crossed each other and, ripped each other off and stuff. So we were kind of on the outs. And now all of a sudden, here his cabin got robbed, and right away, him and his family all said, oh yeah, it was Matt Jablonski. And in the moment, it pissed me off. But looking back, it didn't take me that long to get to this point. But I looked back when I was sitting in that jail cell, and I was like, I can't even be mad at them, because like all they did was do basic math. Like I lived just a couple miles down the road from their cabin, and I'm a meth head. I'm known for stealing things. I'm not me and Tony have been fighting. And then their cabin gets robbed. Of course, it was probably me, right? So I can't even blame them. I actually later realized that it's not even their fault. It's my fault for getting that bad that people who were friends, his family and my family were friends my whole life, right? They're family friends of ours. And I had gotten so bad into meth and stealing shit that my family friends thought that I would steal from them. Like I never would have stole from him and his family. That was a line I wouldn't have crossed. There is honor among thieves, there is that level. And I wouldn't have crossed that. But I had gotten so bad that they thought that I would cross that line. Like that was a big punch in the soul for me to realize I needed to wake up and I needed to start doing right, There's another bug. Son of a bitch. Oh, I'm sorry, taters. It's just a bug. It was a bug. It was a bug. I scared my dog. Sorry, bug distracted me. Anyway, back to the story here. So he tells me that they think that it was me, and I'm like, wow, no, it wasn't me. And I ended up getting revoked off of probation over this whole deal. I sat 97 days, but where was I? Damn bug. Got me all off track here. Oh yeah, eventually they did find out. They continued their investigation. And they did find out that it wasn't me that stole Tony's gun. They found the person that actually stole his gun. It turned out to be a 15-year-old girl, which is really sad for me. Because a big reason why they thought it was me was because the boot prints that were found outside the cabin matched my boot size. So I have the same size feet as a 15-year-old little girl. If you didn't know, I'm really tiny, just so you know. They took my boots and they brought them to the crime scene because when they raided our house, they took my boots as evidence and they brought them over there and they matched the boot print size at the house. So they thought it was me. Like, damn it, me and my tiny feet. But anyway, in their investigation to that gun, they found the gun that I did steal. They frickin' found the shotgun that I stole from my frickin' meth dealer and sold it, because while I was selling it, a friend of mine pulled in the driveway while I was selling it. The guy that I went to his house and hid in his bedroom, that guy, he showed up while I was selling that shotgun. So when they were talking to him about this cabin robbery, he was like, oh yeah, I just showed up at Matt's house the other day and he was selling a gun to some guy. What? What the hell? Yeah, man. Ah. I mean, looking back, I'm very thankful for his honesty and his inability to lie, because him, there he is. I'm so glad you're here right now. Oh man, looking back, I'm so thankful for that dude's inability to lie, because he freaking, that was the thing that got me thrown under the bus, and that was the thing that got me thrown in jail, and that was the thing that actually ended up getting me clean, was all of that stuff falling through. But this dude right here, you guys, this dude right here, that's one of the crazy blessings of recovery. I love this guy. Doc Kiko Mayhem Ojeda down here, man. Holy crap, is that a freaking story for the ages. This is the dude I stole the shotgun from. If you ever got your USOP, says, if ever there was you wanted a testimony of this being true stuff right here, this is the dude, man. He's in recovery too. Doing awesome. I mean, you had a slip up not that long ago. I'm so proud of you though, man. Like, love you. I love you. And that's the blessings of recovery. This is the dude that, like, we hated each other, man. Me and this guy, he wanted me dead. He wanted me dead. There was a time in my life where I would have told you that that's how I was going to die. This guy was going to kill me. Right. And here we are, like, laughing about it, and I love that guy now. Like, went to his house for a cookout. Like, holy crap, dude, the blessings of recovery, and I'm very thankful that you're in recovery and that I'm in recovery, and that this is even a thing, that you can show up here and we can have this laughter and stuff like that, man. That's beautiful. That's beautiful stuff. That was a hatchet that I never thought I would bury. I figured for sure we were going to hate each other for the rest of eternity. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. I'm glad you're here. Curtis says your sunglasses are now a permanent part of your wardrobe. Amen. Amen, they are. Doc, came close. It sure did. It sure did. It came close to being an eternal battle forever, man. Oh, I see everybody saying congratulations on 5 years and stuff. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. And I will go back and look at all these comments I'm missing. I really do appreciate it. Oh, man. I'm proud of you, he says. Right on, brother. Right on. So glad to have you here and glad that we're alive, man. I really am. I really am. Hey, Dana. Thank you. I appreciate that. Iris, right on. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So yeah, after getting locked up in jail, I sat 97 days in Price County Jail. Old school jails up north, man. They still got the iron bars and stuff up there, So I sat 97 days, not that long of a time, but enough stuff happened in that 97 days to wake me up. That was the key. It was like this short window, I'd been to jail for 90 days and a few months in the past, but this time was different. Like this time, a lot of things happened that really opened my eyes. For one, those 3 months off, 100% sober, like, I think that's really freaking important. Even as a pro-cannabis recovery speaker, I believe that a few months of abstinence is really important to get yourself back down to a baseline so that then we can assess truly what's going on inside of you. Because when you're on that many drugs, as many of us were on multiple drugs, your baseline for how your regulation for like your mental health and everything, who knows what kind of mental illnesses you're suffering with, because you're so hopped up on freaking dope that your mental illnesses aren't even able to be shown or aren't even able to be detected because you're self-medicating them, right? So a lot of times you get off the dope and find out, holy crap, I have depression. Holy crap, I have anxiety. I didn't even know that I had those things because I'd been on dope for so long, didn't even realize they were a thing, So I think it's really important for a person to take a few months of abstinence, even if you do decide to go with MAT or with cannabis or whatever you decide, however you decide to work your recovery, that's on you. But I believe that those first few months should be spent 100% sober to get your brain back to a baseline of 0. So then we can say, okay, well, you should be, glad you got off all that, but you should be on this, you know what I mean? Or you should be on that kind of thing. Either way, that's neither here nor there. I spent that 97 days in that jail cell. I attended NA meetings while I was in there. And I had a visitor one day. My dad came to see me every freaking Sunday. Every Sunday, without fail, my dad was there. Every time I'd ever go to jail, my dad was there every Sunday to visit me. And that one Sunday, man, they kicked my bunk and, Jablonski, wake up, you got a visitor. And I was like, all right, cool, my dad's here. All right, guys, I'll be back, going to see my dad. And I went down to visitation, and I walked around that corner, and there was my mom sitting on the other side of that glass. And that was the first time my mom had ever seen me in that orange jumpsuit, or frickin' come to visit me in jail, or actually just sat face to face with me with all of my bullshit was on the table. You know what I mean? Like the meth addiction, the stealing, the lying, all of it is on the table. Here's your mom face to face with her broken heart and tears running down her face, staring at you like through this glass. And I figured she was going to scream at me. And I sat in that chair assuming she was going to start yelling, and she didn't. She didn't. Dang her. Because if she had yelled at me, if I had sat down and my mom had been like, what the hell is wrong with you? You got to get your life together. You got to get off of this meth. You're better than this. Rah, 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 rah. If she had freaked out on me, I could have freaked out on her. And that would have given me a reason to freak out back on her and say, whatever, mom, I don't need your judgmental bullshit. You and your perfect life, blah, 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 blah. Leave me alone. Get out of here and go away. She didn't make that happen. She took the wind out of my sails by coming in there and just being totally quiet and crying. And she didn't know what to say to me. And it's like, all she could ask me was like, how you doing? And she even told me, I'm not going to lecture you. You know what you're doing is wrong. You know what you're doing is wrong. She asked me if I had any plans when I got out, stuff like that. And they actually gave us extra time for our visit, like double time for like an hour and a half visit. And we talked, but all I remember is the sadness in my mom's eyes. I don't really remember what we talked about. I don't really remember conversation. I don't even remember it being that extra long of a visit. I remember just seeing my mom's broken heart, and realizing that I had done that. And that's hard stuff to face, to look at your own shit and know that that's you and not have the drugs to cover it back up. I was in a jail cell, so you can't just feel that pain and then go, I don't want to feel this anymore and go smoke a bubble and feel better. You have to sit with this now. Now you have to picture her face for days, so freaking, that was a big one. And then some friends of mine that I had completely pushed away for years, and blocked out, really, like, they wrote me letters every day, to make sure, not every day, but I was getting letters from friends like every couple days, but they weren't my current friends, like the friends that I hung out with when I was on the outs. My drug buddies didn't get a single letter from one of them. In fact, they went to my house and stole my Xbox and stole my TV and freaking went in my room and took a bunch of my shit, But the people that I had pushed away, like Ryan and my high school sweetheart, she was really pivotal in helping me get clean too. But she was somebody like that was a big thing, was because she was an ex-girlfriend, out of the picture for years, and was married and was pregnant and was working 2 jobs, and she still took time to write me a letter once a week. My girlfriend at the time, I think, wrote me one maybe 2 letters in the 3 months that I was there, and that was a big realization for me. Holy crap, these people that I had pushed away, and they really actually care about me. And then these people that I've pulled close to me, they don't care about me at all. You know, they're stealing from me and lying to me and ripping each other off. And I honestly don't care about them either, you know? And it was like, well, that was a big realization that I needed to change something, you know? There's a lot of wake-up calls while I was in that jail cell. And then to get out, I got out on May 10th, 2017, after 97 days behind bars there. I got out, came home, and realized that my girlfriend had been cheating on me. Girlfriend. That my friends had gone to my house and took everything. You know, they told my dad they were there, that I had some of their stuff, and they went in, which was probably true too. I probably did have some of their stuff. We all had sticky fingers back then. But they went in there and they took their stuff and my stuff. They took everything, you know. And a big move my dad made that really helped this decision along was my dad was getting pretty rough in age, or not up there in age, but up there in miles. You know, he wasn't very old. My dad was only 65 when he passed away, but my dad had 5 boys. He was an over-the-road truck driver. He was a concrete mason before that. He worked building highways and building bridges before that. My dad had a lot of miles on him, right? So, and he was a freaking hardcore smoker. Dude smoked two to 3 packs a day, like for years. So he just had a lot of miles, and his back was giving out, and his legs were giving out. And he had a washer and dryer in the basement at his house. So my brothers decided that because he was having a harder time getting up and down the stairs, they decided to come over and redo the plumbing, run the pipes up through the wall, and they turned my bedroom into Dad's laundry room while I was in jail. And that was really pivotal too, because when I came home, not only was all of my stuff, the stuff that I had was stolen, but my room was gone. I didn't have a bedroom anymore. It was now Dad's laundry room, and there was now a fold-out cot in the living room that Dad was like, you can still stay here, but you're going to have to sleep on this cot in the living room. You're not going to have a bedroom anymore, you know? That was really key. That was pivotal, especially because my dad was an over-the-road truck driver for 35 years, so the man did not sleep. He would sleep for like 2 hours at a time, and he would sleep for a little bit here, and then he'd wake up at freaking midnight and stay up and like he would just sleep naps throughout the day. You know what I mean? So like there was no sleeping. There was no sleeping in that living room unless you can sleep through. And he was hard of hearing too. So unless you can sleep through freaking episodes of Gunsmoke at full volume, you ain't sleeping in my dad's living room. You know what I'm saying? The man loved Western movies, just loved Westerns, wouldn't watch anything that didn't have cowboy hats in it. If it don't have cowboy hats in it, Dad's not watching it. And full volume all the time, full volume. So there was no sleeping anymore. So he took away my comfortable place to stay and do drugs. He took away my ability to be there in my room with the door locked, smoking meth, you know? But anyways, every time I went to jail, when I got out, I would have a message from my best friend, Ryan, telling me that I could move to Whitewater most of the time he said, you can move down here anytime you want, man, you know, come down here, stay with us. You know, me and Brianna, we love you. You're always welcome down here. And I always knew he was going to, you know, that if I moved down here, he wouldn't let me do drugs. Like, I knew that was going to be a thing. Like, so I always told him, you know, no, I'm good. I don't want to move down there. Because, and this time I went seeking him. But I went into town, and because I had to go into the town to use the computer at the library to get on Facebook, because I didn't have a phone, and Dad just had a flip phone. He didn't have an internet phone, you know, smartphone or anything. So I went into town, rode my bike into the Hawkins library there, and got on the computer and came on Facebook, and I had a message from Ryan. telling me, hey man, when you get a hold of me, when you get out, get a hold of me. So I messaged him back and told him, hey man, and he was like, oh my God, are you out? That's great, blah, blah, blah. And he said, are you done stealing shit? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And he said, why don't you come down? You should come down here and try it out. It might give you some sophistication, he said. And I said, well, you know how much I love change. And then I wrote hate it in parentheses. And I said, but I'm thinking about taking you up on that. Which I think is really ironic that I said that. And I know that that's what I told him because I've looked back at the message. I think it's really ironic that now I have a Facebook page called The Point of Change. And like change is one of my favorite words in the English language. I love changing things in my life. And back then, that was coming into recovery. One of the first things I said was, how much I love change. I hate it. So the change of recovery right there. One good example of it. But anyway, so I went back home for that night. And then it was the next day that everything came out, that my girlfriend had been cheating on me. I kind of knew. I mean, you kind of know, you know what I mean? You kind of know. You don't want to admit that to yourself when it's happening and stuff like that. But it came, she actually came out and told me that she had been seeing this other guy while I was in jail. And it was like, God damn it. And I wanted to get high really bad. I asked Dad if I could use his phone, and he gave me his phone. And instead of calling the dope man, all of a sudden something grabbed a hold of my soul and was like, why don't you call Ryan instead? And I was like, all right. And I called Ryan instead of calling the dope man. And that decision, if you could track my recovery back to one decision, if you could track this whole 5 years back to one decision, I would say it was that moment right there. When I freaking found out that girl was cheating on me, and I asked Dad for his phone, and in that moment, instead of freaking calling the dope man, I called Ryan. I think that would be the freaking moment that decided this 5 years right here, man. And I freaking broke down, told him, man, you please come get me. Like, I need help. Like, I'm going to go get high. I know I am. She's cheating on me. Fucking everybody stole everything, blah, 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 blah. Unloaded on him. Tears streaming down her face, And he was like, give me 5 minutes. And we hung up the phone. And he called his boss and got the rest of the day off of work. And he called me back. And he was like, Maddie, I'm coming to get you, man. Like, I took the rest of the day off. Pack your shit. I'm on my way. You're going to come down here. You're going to stay with me and Brianna. Try it out for a week. If it don't work out, we'll bring you back. But whatever. I'm coming to get you. He's like, can your dad bring you like halfway? Because it's like 4.5 hours. And I didn't want to ask Dad for nothing. I mean, Dad I just got out of jail again. And everything's on the table now, right? Like, now he knows that I've been stealing shit, that I've been doing meth, that I've been doing all this stuff right under his roof, right under his nose. Like, for me, it was like, I don't want to ask him for a damn thing right now. But you're in recovery now. This is about accepting help from others and accepting the advice from others, right? So I turned to Dad and I was like, Dad, Ryan wants me to come down there and try it out for a week. Do you think you could give me a ride halfway? Like, I was so shaky when I asked him that. And he was like, yes, yeah. He like jumped out of his chair. Like, he was in rough shape, bad back, fat, old. Sorry, Dad, but he was. He jumped out of his chair, so freaking excited. Yes, let's go right now. Do we have to leave right now? Is he leaving right now? Like, and I'm like, all right, yeah, let's. And he's like, go pack your shit, get a bag of clothes, I'll get you some food. And he gave me $50. He told me not to spend it on drugs. And we packed up the truck. He was so freaking excited about it, and we drove halfway down and met Ryan at a little gas station, and that was the first time Ryan had seen me in a while, and he didn't realize I was missing that many teeth, and he didn't realize I was freaking that skinny, and he didn't realize how bad I had gotten. You know, Ryan knew I was a meth addict, but Ryan didn't realize how deep I had gone. And he told me later that he almost cried when he saw me. That, you know, it was pretty rough to see me like that. And he even told me later on that night when he first brought me down here, he went to sleep really freaking scared that I was gonna rob him and steal his truck and leave that night. Because like once he got me in his truck and realized how freaking strong, you know, how bad I really had gotten, he said it kind of sunk into him, you know, to realize, oh shit, what have I done? You know, Maddie's not the same Maddie I remember. This is a skinny little meth head thief right here, you know. But he still went through with it, you know. He brought me down here and he opened his heart and he opened his home. And that's a big thing about healing, is you have to be vulnerable. Everybody that's involved in the healing process, you have to be vulnerable. And being vulnerable is opening yourself up. But when you do that, you open yourself up, you allow others to either hurt you or help you. And you know, it's one of them really fragile situations when somebody opens up to help another person and when somebody opens up to be helped. Both people are accepting a big risk. You're accepting that this other person could definitely hurt you, but I'm hoping that you'll help me. You know, it's just like when you go to hug somebody, like put your hands out, they could freaking stab you. You know, your defenses are down, or they can wrap you in a loving embrace, you know, and help heal you. And I'm very thankful that I was in the mindset. I look back, I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I made that phone call to call Ryan instead of calling the dope man. I don't know how my brain made that decision. I know it had to be God leading me. I don't know how I came down here and how my mindset was so... It wasn't, you know, it still wasn't entirely there, but my mindset was very much like, okay, we're going to make this work. I don't care what we do. Like, we're going to go to work every single day. I didn't really know how to be a normal human yet. And I still definitely wasn't at the point I am now in my recovery. But I knew that what I'd been doing was wrong. And I just had this idea that if I don't do meth, and I just freaking work, dude. Like, if I just go to work every single day, like, stop missing days, stop calling in sick because you want to go get high, stop freaking, you know, making excuses, stop leaving early, stop showing up late, stop all that, and just start going to work. Every day that you have to be to work, be there. Every day you have to be at counseling, be there. Every day you have to be at probation, be there. Like, just start showing up for stuff, even if you screw it up. Even if you completely screw it up and break everything, just fucking be there every single day. That was kind of the mindset I got. And even though I was very broken and very out of it and very lost and very lonely and very bored and very tired, I was all of the things. But I just kept sticking to that I just got to keep working and I just got to keep doing the exact, you know, just getting this routine and don't give myself any spare time, you know, and just go and just full immersion in life. I wasn't totally about this recovery stuff yet. I was more about just, I don't even know. I was very stagnant in the beginning. I was very freaking stagnant. I came into recovery. I quit using meth. I started smoking massive amounts of marijuana instead, like just a lot of pot. That first year was like blinded by the light, man, revved up like a deuce, another runner in the night. I was just stoned all freaking the time. That's all it was, okay? And in a way, I could see how it was just kind of me continuing my addiction. I could kind of see that, but I was definitely on the road to doing better. I was going to AODA classes. I had changed my work ethic hardcore. I was more gung-ho about just going to work every single day, and I was volunteering my time, even on the weekends when when I had time off. Instead, I was volunteering at the animal shelter and going and volunteering and cleaning dog cages and taking dogs for walks at the Jefferson County Humane Society. So it was, you know, call it what you want and judge it how you want, but it's what worked for me. I mean, here I am still pushing through recovery. So maybe it was wrong of me to do it that way, but that's how I did it in the beginning, especially. And it went on that way for over a year. My first year of recovery was that way, just working at a factory and frickin' volunteering my weekends, and every morning I would wake up and I would just smoke an entire bowl of weed to my head. Like I would literally like open my eyes and I would just grab my bowl and just like there were some mornings where there was a lot of mornings where I just wanted to give up, and say what you want, but cannabis helped me so much on those days. I look back at the person I was in my first year of recovery, and I just want to give him a hug, Oh, he was so sad. But I got through that first year, and then after 1 year of living down here, I think most of you kind of know this part of the story, but we'll tell it anyways because it's a freaking another huge point of change in my life. When I got the call that my dad was passing away, late April 2018, over a year clean, over a year off of meth anyways. I know some people are really get into that whole wording thing. I'm not too big on like making sure you use the specific words, and I apologize if that offends anybody. No, actually, let's rewind just a little bit. Let's talk about this slip I had, because I think that's pretty pivotal too. That was a moment that I think is really pivotal to talk about. Just before my 1 year recovery mark, Christmas, December 24th, 2017. I came up to see family for Christmas for the holidays, and one of my family members was still using meth at that time. And I got to my dad's house. My dad was in a nursing home at this time. And I got to my dad's house. We were having a Christmas get together there for Dad. The next day, Dad was going to be coming home from the nursing home and coming for a Christmas get together at his house. Morning, Bodie. I get there, and this family member of mine that's still using now is in recovery. The person I'm talking about is in recovery these days and doing great, by the way. But he was there and he had some meth, and I show up and there was no pre-thought to this. I came in, he was like, "Hey man, I'm not going to try to hide this from you, and I know you're going to be able to tell. So I'm just going to tell you right now, I got some shit, and if you want to do some, we can do it." And I was like, "Yep, let's do it." And I freaking did a line of meth right there. And it was a peek back in the window. I'm not one of them to say that, relapse is part of recovery. Now the way I viewed this, and the way I've come to realize this, and if you disagree with me, I totally respect your opinion, but just hear me out. The way I viewed this is there was no slip in my recovery program, technically. There was no pre-thought to this. The use didn't continue that night or even continue the next day or continue at all for that matter. So for me and for my recovery, I called it a slip, didn't call it a full-on relapse, because a relapse doesn't actually just mean using drugs again. A relapse actually means a worsening of a disease after a time of improvement. So on my own judgment and through the support system that I have, we decided that that's not actually a relapse, it's a slip, and it definitely isn't allowed. It's not something that we should beat around the bush about and like make light of, but it's not something that I needed to restart my timer for, especially because my recovery date is not a 100% sobriety date. Okay, that's something I definitely need to make clear. It's February 3rd is not a 100% sobriety date because I used cannabis in my recovery. Obviously, I used meth one time since then. So February 3rd is my recovery date, because that's the day I went to jail. That's the day that everything in my life changed. From that day forward, my life would never be the same again. So that's why I say February 3rd is my recovery date. February 3rd, 2017 is the day my life changed forever. It was never the same again. I'm sorry if anybody else views that differently, or if you have a different view of recovery or a different definition of your recovery, and the way I define my recovery offends the way you define your recovery. I apologize for that. But at the same time, this is my journey, not your journey. I'm just trying to share what happened with me. Call it right or wrong. This is what happened. All right. And this is how I've worked my recovery. So I did have a slip on Christmas of 2017. I used meth one time. And honestly, very thankful for that, because up until that time, I had had a lot of thoughts about using meth again. I'd had a lot of thoughts about, it was glorified in my mind. In my mind, it was like, man, I remember that rush. Man, I remember that feeling. Man, I missed that feeling, And doing it that time made me realize that no, I did not miss that feeling. Not one bit. I didn't miss that at all, and I never want to feel that way again. And I seen the way it made me feel. I seen the way it made me start acting right away. I seen the wanting inside of me get so bad in that night, just like, I want more. And I really had to fight and crush and like beat myself to death to make myself stay there, and not go get more. So for me, I've called it a slip, and I've called it what I call a peek back in the window. I didn't really go back into the world of addiction, but I definitely looked back in the window and seen what it was like, and remembered a lot of things that I don't like about that world. And for me, that was a huge growing point in my recovery. It was another point of change, if you will. But I'm also... yeah, it's, how can I say this? I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly how to put into words what's in my head right now, so I'm just going to leave it there. I'll just leave that for me. But that was ended up being the last Christmas with my dad. That's one thing that really sucks about losing family members, is that you never know that it's the last Christmas with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have the last Christmas and you don't even realize it. And then they leave, and then all of a sudden that becomes the last Christmas that you had with them. But yeah, that was the last Christmas we had with my dad. That April 2018, I got the call from my brother that my dad was on his way out, and I needed to come see him. And I was like, yeah, I'll be up in 2 weeks. And he was like, man, he doesn't have 2 weeks. You gotta come. It's gotta be now, And it was like, wow, all right, I'll be there, And I took off work and I came up right away, And boy, he was rough. Dad was rough. Oh, he was. But it was so good to see him, and that's a hard thing to talk about. Part of me is thinking, we're just gonna. I don't want to get too sad right now. I'm hoping to keep today as a day of celebration, so I'm not gonna go in depth into my father's death. Okay, we're not gonna go into that this morning. But what I will say is, I'm very thankful that I was there when I was. I'm very thankful that I was able to hold his hand and tell him that I'm over a year in recovery, and that I had graduated my AODA, and that, if you need to go, you can go. And then my dad let out his last breath and he was gone. And in that moment, I realized my passion. I realized my purpose. I realized that I needed to start sharing my story. I realized that a huge reason why my dad was able to let go so easily was because I was in recovery. And I realized that I want more people to feel that. I want more people's family to feel that release, that that your loved one is okay, you know, and that, you know, that you can do what you need to do because that loved one of yours that was trapped in addiction is okay now, you know. And I didn't start the Point of Change right away, but it was very soon after that I started the Point of Change and started helping people. I was trying so hard not to make myself sad, and I kind of made myself sad, guys. All right, let's take an intermission from talking about my story for a minute. We're over an hour. All right, we're over an hour. Hopefully you guys don't have anywhere to go because we still got a long ways to go in this story. Let me check with some comments here and see how you guys are doing. Okay. Lynette sending lots of love your way. Thank you. I appreciate that. Kathy, yesterday was a wow day for myself. I was verbally and physically attacked. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Kathy. Kathy, great. Maddie, great news. Congratulations, 5 years. Can you really believe it? Send only loves and blessings. Right on, Kathy. Iris says, I'm here for the long haul. Right on, Iris. I appreciate that. I know it's such a long story. And the thing about sharing your testimony is every year it gets longer. That's the thing about this. It's like every single year the story gets longer. Eventually we'll be here for like 10 hours and I'll be like, you will be starting this story from the beginning. So today makes 50 years of recovery and I'm going to share my story with you. Belinda's here. What's up, Belinda? Are you still here? And that says, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Gee, that was the point of change. Amen. The point of that freaking phone call right there. You bet it was. Kiko. 64 days clean after relapsing in 6 years. Damn. Oh, I don't know if you're still here, brother, but 64 days is awesome, man. And I'm so thankful. And those 6 years weren't wasted. Don't think that, you know, your relapse lost those 6 years, you know. Let's see. Doc says, they only love the drugs, not us. You and I had a lot of similar friends. Amen, brother. Amen. I loved your dad. He was a good man. And I loved your dad, man. Keep in touch. I've got to go to group. Oh, okay, right on. He's gone, but that's all right. He gone. Deborah, I'm here, Maddie. Right on, Deborah. My word, we are all proud and love you, bro. Thanks for the point of change. Amen, brother. Thank God. Thank my dad. Thank everybody else that's kept me pushing to keep this page up and running and keep doing what we're doing and keep helping people, you know. I started the Point of Change in July of 2018 after my dad passed away. And so we're coming up on 4 years of the Point of Change. Crazy. This year, in July, we'll have 4 years of the Point of Change. And I know, like Caitlin was saying to me last night, she said, you know, you have no idea how many people you've helped in the last 4 years. Like, there are people out there that have seen videos of yours that never commented, never reacted, never said a word to you, but they watched a video of yours and are doing better now, you know, and that really hit me. It really hit me to think about that, you know, hey, there's people out there that, you know, I don't even know it. Amber Poppy, congratulations. You have been through a lot, and I'm happy to see you still have the humor you had from grade school. Thank you for always being willing to share your story. Oh, well, that's friggin' awesome. Thanks for being here, Amber. I appreciate that. Oh, well, that just made my whole life better right there. When we were kids, this one time, I always tell this story. I don't always tell the story, but whenever I talk about Amber Poppy, this is the story that comes up. Her older sister, Crystal Poppy, was in my grade, right? And the one time they're going around the class, the substitute teacher's calling out everybody's names, and they get to Amber and Crystal Poppy, right? And she's like, Amber Poppy? And everybody's like, it's Poopy, it's Amber Poopy. And the teacher's like, hey, everybody, stop it, all of you. Amber, how do I pronounce your last name? And Amber wanted to embarrass Crystal, so Amber goes, it's Poopy. Oh my God, I've never laughed so hard in my life. The teacher's like, okay, Crystal Poopy. We all just died so hard, dude. Oh man, that's one of my favorite stories. I loved that. I will never forget that moment. Like when Amber didn't get mad that we just called her Amber Poopy and instead was like, it's Poopy. Oh my God, I freaking laughed so hard. Let's see, Lynette, heck yeah, I vote for a get-together on the anniversary of the Point of Change. Holy crap, that's a good idea. That'd be a hell of a thing to pull off. But we might be able to do something like that. We'll think about it. Well, not this year, Lynette, because like a week after that is the Recovery Ribbon event. So, and I know a lot of you guys are coming up for the Recovery Ribbon event in Merrill, Wisconsin. If you're not, make sure you make some plans to get your butt to Merrill, Wisconsin for the Recovery Ribbon event. That's July 18th, I believe. I would have to check into that date. I have shared the event out here on the Point of Change, so you can go back and find it. Just scroll down the page of Loy's and you'll find it. That's the Recovery Ribbon event in Merrill, Wisconsin. I believe that's July 18th. So, and I know a lot of people are planning on coming up for that, so I don't want to put another date a week before that, you know. Let's see, Curtis, at times where I'd be if I was still out there, but then I have some great supports that I don't want to go back. Thank you, Maddie, as well as Caitlin Tanner for the continued support. Right on, Curtis. We're always here for you, brother. Linzer, we all love you. You've helped us these last few years, knowing you. Right on, Linzer. I'm happy to have you here. Deborah, I'm here because you inspired me, blessed me, and loved me through it all. Hey, and I'm going to keep it up. I'm going to keep it up, and you keep it up. All right? We're going to get through this. I don't know if there's anything we're getting through. We're just always we're going to be always in this. All right? That's what we're going to do. We're going to stay in this fight. Amber, great times. Pretty sure this was in the gym. And here I thought I was the victim, but it turned out I was the asshole. I should apologize to my sister. That was in the gym. That was great. Yep. We were all assholes, weren't we? Holy crap, man. I think back to some of the stuff I said when I was a kid and some of the stuff that was said to me when I was a kid. And I'm like, man, kids are mean, bro. Kids are mean. Lynette, I guess I just got to make it to the Recovery Ribbon event. I'm pretty sure it's June. Really? Am I that far off? I don't know, man. Give me just a second. Let me find out what you're talking about. Nah, it's going to take me too long to look for it. Whatever. There's a Recovery Ribbon event coming up this summer, too. Maybe we'll do something maybe we'll do something here, too. Oh, June 18th. Is the Recovery Ribbon event, huh? Oh, well, good. I'm glad I was way off. It's June 18th, everybody. But if you want to come up, go harass Diamond. July 18th. July 18th. Go to Inked Horizons Tattoo Shop in Merrill and come bursting in the door and be like, yeah, we're here for the Recovery Ribbon event. Oh. Belinda, I thought the event was in May. Boy, I was off. Samsonite. I was way off. Amber, I remember you being one of the nice kids. Kids were mean, but you did not meet the definition. Aw, I appreciate that, Amber. I generally tried to be one of the nice kids, but I did have and I still do. My sense of humor is a little bit like jabby. You know what I mean? Like I like to poke fun at people. I don't mean it meanly. Sometimes people think I'm a bully, but really I'm just poking fun. I just like to poke. Let's see. Curtis says, Maddie, you should bring back the Marty gig. or the Satan thing as a laugh. Yeah, those are definitely two fun characters to play, that's for sure. Melinda, it's not at his shop this year, though, unless that has changed as well. No, it's not at his shop. June 18th, come to Merrill, Wisconsin for their actual recovery ribbon event. But then July 18th, come back and go knock on Diamond's door at his house and tell him you're there for the recovery ribbon event. Let's see. Curtis says, I may or may not be able to make it because I will be in the area. Oh, well, then you better be able to make it. No, you can try though, bro. Okay, I suppose we can get back on the story here if you guys are willing to listen for a little while longer. My mouth is dry. Okay. So after my dad passed away, I spent a few more days up north, and then I decided to head back home. And on my way back home, Caitlin Tanner, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm great. How's your face?
Oh, it's so gross and boogery.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, Caitlin's going to join us, everybody. Woo! Brody, come here. Come here. Okay, so after I left my dad's funeral, I stayed a couple days up north, hung out with my brothers and stuff, and then headed back home. And when I headed back home, by the way, I'm driving without a license. I didn't have a license yet, but I did have a car. So my dad was passing away. There was no way I was just not going to be there, right? So I drove and I came back home to see my dad, and I'm glad I did. But then on my way back home, I'm driving without a license, and I'm driving a, what is it? 99 Toyota Corolla, I believe is what I had. The Rolla, just a purple bomber car, man. And I had a cracked windshield. And I'm driving down the interstate, and I'm at the back end of a pack of cars, right? There's quite a few cars in front of me. I'm the last car in the line. And we go past a state trooper. And I knew, like, you ever drive past a cop and you know that he's got you? And yeah, he had me. He spotted my little loud purple bomber with a broken windshield at the back end of the pack of cars there, and he freaking flipped on the cherries and berries and came out after me. And I don't have a license. I'm on probation. I have a pot pipe in the car. I know I'm in trouble, right? I know I'm in trouble. And I tried to plead with the cop that I have, that my dad just passed away, and I tried to tell him the whole story, but he's, on one hand, I get it. He's a cop. He's not there to be the judge. He's not there to frickin', weigh out the facts and all this stuff and come to a conclusion. He's just there to report what he sees and find what he can against you and then take your ass to jail. That's the cop's job, right? So he didn't care that my dad just passed away. He didn't care that I had just left his funeral. He didn't care about any of that, right? Like, in the moment, it felt very heartless, but looking back, I can see how it all had to happen that way, But he could smell the weed, so he wants to search the vehicle. So he searched the vehicle. He found the pot pipe, found a bottle of wine that my mom gave me at my dad's funeral, and I smashed it along, took it alongside. That was a sore point. That was a real sore point. What a dick move. He arrested me, put me in the back of the squad car, and then he's searching my car some more, and he comes back to the back of the squad with this bottle of wine that my mom gave me at my dad's funeral. And he's like, "What's this?" And I'm like, "It's a bottle of wine that my mom just gave me. My dad's funeral. It's homemade wine, My mom makes her homemade wine, and it's delicious. But he's like, well, you're on probation. You can't have alcohol. And takes the bottle of wine over to the edge of the asphalt, smashes the top off it, dumps it out on the side of the road, throws the glass bottle back in a freaking plastic bag, and then brings it back to the cop car and throws it in by my feet. Like, what a dick move, dude. What a dick. Like, for real. That's all I can say on that one. What a dick. But anyway, I went to jail in Marathon County in Wisconsin, which is kind of a meth freaking capital. But I went to jail there, and I was very much like, I wanted to stay to myself. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I thought I was going to get released really quickly. I ended up there for quite a while. But that was... Is Caitlin coming to join us? Or do you got stuff to do, don't you? Or you want to do your yoga and all that?
I'm just gonna say good morning. Good morning.
Oh, okay.
If you want me here, I'm here.
Aww. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to tell my story, though, either, because it's really wearing me out right now. Yeah, I'm getting to the parts that I don't like talking about. Yeah.
You can jump to the beauty of today.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Could talk about all that.
The amount of disgusting gnats that are on my plant.
Yeah, we talked about that already, didn't we, guys? There's bugs in my office. Bugs everywhere.
I'll mix up a peroxide solution and get rid of those little bastards.
Yeah, kill them, Caitlin, kill them. Thank you.
Fucking with my plant.
Yeah, they're fucking with me, too. They're all over my desk. Lynette, she noticed right away. She's a good plant mama. Okay. I'm going to keep going. Thank you guys for encouraging me. I appreciate it. But yeah. So anyways, I got hauled off to jail. I got to the jail. It was kind of a meth-filled jail. Not really meth-filled, but everybody there was active meth addicts. They're all there for meth charges. Like it's a really, meth is huge in that area. Northern Wisconsin has a big problem with it. But I just happened to be put into a cell called the Holy Roller Cell. That's what they were calling it, because in O Block, which is where I was, some of the guys in there had really gotten into the Bible, and they started a prayer group and a Bible study, and every night at 9 p.m. they would get together and have a Bible reading and Bible study in that block. Not everybody, but quite a few people, like 10 people in the block would go read the Bible and get into the Word, right? And it's my first night in there. I'm not trying to listen to anybody, right? Because I'm a year off of meth at this point. My dad just passed away. I do not want to frickin' be in jail again. And here I am back in jail. And I've decided in my head, I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm not going to frickin' communicate with these guys. I'm going to go in my bunk. I'm going to put my blankets over my head. Here we are again with me with blankets over my head. I'm going to put blankets over my head, and I'm going to stay in my bunk. I'm not getting up. I'm not talking to these guys. I didn't know anything about the Holy Roller thing. I didn't know about the Bible study. They didn't tell me anything about that. So that during the day, I'm laying there all day in my bunk, trying to sleep the day away. I'm overhearing a lot of conversations about using and stuff. And I'm just constantly, I'm in my head just like, oh my God, please get me out of here. Get me out of here. At this time, I'm still atheist. Didn't believe in Jesus. Didn't even believe in really a creator much at all. Had lost pretty much all faith in God at this point. And, I hear these guys that night, the Bible study group starts up, and I'm laying in my bunk and hearing all these guys talk about doing drugs and stuff. and I hear these guys talking about Jesus at a table over there. And in my head, I'm still super atheist, and I'm like, I do not want to go listen to a message about Jesus. Okay. Like that was the last thing I wanted to do. But they were being positive. They were talking about love. They were talking about light. They were talking about living a better life. They were talking about, loving each other and loving family and this, that, the other thing. And it was positive compared to what everybody else was talking about, was doing drugs and shooting up and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get up. I can't stay in this bed. Something told me I can't stay in this bed. I don't know how long I'm going to end up here. So I might as well get up and go talk to these guys. It might not be a message I believe in. I don't believe in Jesus, but at least like it's positive, So I got up out of my bunk and I went over to see these guys and I sat down at the table, and these guys were so freaking friendly and so awesome. And the guy that was leading the group, his name was Shane, and he was hilarious, and he was freaking just a really nice, loving, outgoing dude, And I came up and he was like, hey, what's your name, man? And I was like, Matt. And he's like, brother Matt, good to meet you, brother Matt. Come on in, and we started talking, and we got through that first day of Bible study or whatever. And Shane wanted to talk to me. So we're over. He's like, come back over to my bunk, and come over to his bunk, and he starts talking to me, asking me, what I do for a living. And we started doing the walking thing. We're walking side by side, back and forth in the jail cell. You go for a walk together. You walk back and forth side by side across the jail cell, and you go for a walk and you talk about stuff. And so we went for a walk. And we talked about God, and we talked about purpose, and we talked about all this stuff. And Shane was the first one to really start building me up to start the point of change. He told me, he was like, man, you have a really powerful story. You have a really awesome way of speaking. Like, he was like, oh yeah, because that night when I sat down to that Bible study, I opened up and started telling them about my dad and about losing my dad and about my meth addiction and stuff like that. I let a lot of things out when I came into that group. And Shane's talking to me, and he's like, man, you have a light inside of you, brother. You have this beautiful light, and you have a way with people. He's like, I have been trying to reach people, and I can't. I have a really hard time getting through to people. And you walked into that group tonight, and you grabbed a hold of everybody. You grabbed us all by the heart. We were hanging on your every word, and you weren't even trying, He's like, that's something really beautiful that he's like, you can learn all kinds of stuff in this world, but you can't learn to have a connection like you have with people. He's like, you need to utilize that. You need to use that to help people. And, he's like, what do you do for a living? And I was like, I work on a paint line, which I still work on a paint line. But he's like, you are wasting yourself, brother. You are wasting your potential. You are wasting your God-given gift. You need to find a way to use that. Find a way to use your voice. Find a way to share your story, and do good with it, And Shane really built me up. He really did. In those couple weeks, I ended up in that jail cell for 2 weeks. And Shane really built me up in that time, man, hardcore. And I left there. Shane gave me this Bible, the Bible that I still have. Look at all of these crosses in this frame right now. We got boom, we got boom, we got boom, we got over there, back. Camera's backwards. There it is, right there. Oh yeah, and then this guy over here too. Look at that. Crosses everywhere for this guy that used to be an atheist, right? Shane really got me started reading the Word, and he started building me up, in a personal level, and he started a walk with God that still hasn't stopped. But anyway, I got transferred out of that jail after 2 weeks of sitting there. I got transferred back down here to see the judge down here because I had missed court down here while I was in jail up there. It was a whole thing. It was a whole freaking stupid thing. So they transport me from up there to down here. I get down here. Everybody's telling me I'm going to get a freaking going to get a signature bond, that it was just missing court. It's not a big deal. You're going to go in there. The judge is going to give you a signature bond and give you a new court date. You're going to come back on that court date, and then it'll all be good, you know? And I go in to see the judge, and she is like not having a good day, for one. And for two, I don't look good on paper. I do not look good on paper, all right? Legally speaking, if you're a judge and you're looking over my rap sheet and looking at, now I have new charges of, you know, I was arrested in Marathon County with a pot pipe and with an open intoxicant. Yeah, now it looks bad, right? When you don't realize that cannabis helps me with my addiction, and you don't realize that that was a bottle of wine that was given to me at my dad's funeral, when it just says on paper possession of paraphernalia and possession of and driving with an open intoxicant, it looks bad, right? So she's like, no signature bond on this one, dude. She hits me with $1,000 cash bond. And I was like, oh, like, and I honestly, I lost so much faith in that moment, because, and this was, I lost my fake faith in this moment. I lost my fake faith. Let me say that. How about that? Because I was building up a really fake faith before that. Okay. Because Shane introduced me to Jesus, and I was looking to Jesus to do something for me. I was not reading and praying and getting into the Bible and getting to know this stuff just because I wanted to get closer to God and because I wanted to develop a relationship with him. I was doing all of this with ends in mind. I was doing all this because of the promise that he's going to do good things for me. So I was like, okay, I'll pray and I'll read the Bible and stuff, but God, I'll keep doing this. I'll keep reading this Bible, and I'll keep going to church, and I'll keep praying as long as you do this thing for me. That's how I was praying. Putting the Lord my God to the test is what I was doing. As long as you answer my prayers, I'll keep praying and keep doing things for you, as long as you do what I want first, you know? So what I was saying was, get me out of this jail cell. Like, get me a signature bond. Please, God, get me a signature bond. If you get me a signature bond, I will frickin' keep praying, and I will go to church, and I will turn my life over to you, but only if you give me a signature bond, you know? And here I go into that courtroom, and I did not get my signature bond. I got $1,000 cash bond, like the opposite of a signature bond. So I instantly lost my fake faith. I went back into my jail cell, and when I got there, they wouldn't let me take this Bible, the Bible that Shane gave me. They wouldn't let me take this into my cell with me, which I thought was stupid, but whatever. They gave me a Bible from their library, a loaner Bible, as they called it. They gave me this loaner Bible to take in the cell with me. After hearing that I'm not getting a signature bond, I went back in that jail cell and I destroyed that Bible. I ripped pages out of it. I spit in it. I scratched, just like ripped pages down like this. And I was ripping the pages open and freaking tearing them and spitting in it and slamming it shut and whipping it against the wall. Screaming at God. I actually screamed, "You tell me that if I have faith the size of a mustard seed, I can move a mountain. But I pray to you for 2 weeks and read the Bible, and you can't even get me a signature bond. You're no God." Like I was having this just moment, you know. I was feeling vindicated in a way. There is no God. I knew it. I knew it all along. You're no God. Ha ha ha. And then after some hurdles got jumped, I jumped some hurdles. I've talked about this in the past. I'm not going to get too far into it. But some things were standing in my way between me getting out. And then I finally pushed through all these hurdles, and I finally get out. And right when they let me out, and as I'm walking out the doors, and the guard's like, "Here you go," and hands me this Bible back. And it was like, as soon as this Bible hit my hand, like I had my grand awakening right there in that moment. I had this realization that God is real. He did all this. He knew this was going to happen. He knew this was all going to go this way. He knew that he wasn't going to give me the signature bond that I've been praying for 2 weeks. And he knew I was going to lose my temper. He also knew that for years afterwards, that this Bible was going to mean a lot to me, that this was going to be that I was still going to have this 5 years, 4 years later now. He knew I was going to have this. So he took this Bible away from me and gave me that loaner Bible so that I could destroy that one when I had my little fit in that jail cell, and then I could still have this one back. And that realization right there is what woke me up. That's what made me start my journey with Jesus. That's what made me realize, holy crap, he really is watching. And from that moment on, my life was never the same again. I got out of that jail cell. And it's really funny. I got out, and 2 weeks later, I started my new job, which was funny. Like, I lost my job when I went to jail. I lost my job. And when I got out, so now I had to pay all of my money to get myself out of that jail cell, to pay that $1,000 bond. It literally cost me every dime I had. I had $1,000 in the bank, and I had to spend it all to get myself out of that bank, or to get myself out of the jail. So I come out of that jail cell with no car, no money, no job, back to square one, back on Ryan's couch with nothing again. But this time I had God on my side. So what took me a year to build last time, without God, it took me a year to get to where I was before I went in that jail cell. With God, in just 2 weeks later, I had a new job, a better job that paid better. A woman reached out to me from Columbus, Ohio, and paid for my freaking dentures to get my teeth fixed. An angel just reaches out to me. I joined so many recovery groups on Facebook. I actually started pushing for recovery, actually started trying to better myself, Within a few months, I had my own place and was able to get my little dog back with me. Everything just started getting better and better and better and better and better, like crazy amounts, like really fast. I don't even know how to describe how it felt looking at it and being like, wow, like in a year's time, that's how far I had gotten. And now in just a few months with Jesus, I've gotten this far. Like, it was this crazy realization, God is a huge part of my recovery. That's for sure. What was I going to add to that? I know there was something I was just going to say on that. I can't really remember exactly. Damn it. Hate it when my train of thought gets crashed like that. So yeah, I got my own place, started a better job, started attending First English Lutheran Church. Everything started going amazing for me, really. And then I started the Point of Change in July of 2018. I started this while I was still staying on Ryan's couch. Never mind, that's in mixed up order. It's so funny how it kind of starts to get in mixed up order in your head, I'm losing my train of thought like crazy right now. I need more water, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to go here anyways. Irish, damn, Lutherans are strict. I mean, they are and they're not. Jesus is, like my pastor explained it to me, Jesus is a gentleman. Yeah, he wants you to do some things. He asks you to change some things. He asks you to act a certain way, but he's very patient with you in your walk, And First English Lutheran Church was actually that was a beautiful starting place for my religious journey. Because that's the kind of church I had attended when I was a kid. I didn't attend church very often, but when we did go to church, we went to a Lutheran church, So I was used to that kind of a church, so it was good for me to have that jump off point. Now I belong to a non-denominational church. The chapel is where I attend now, and we're a lot more of a Iris, I was raised in Lutheran church. Oh, right on, Iris, right on. So I'm a lot more freelance. So I get what you mean by they're strict, because it's a lot more religion than it is relationship. which is the best way I've heard it explained. It's more religion than it is relationship. It's like, it's all about the, being by the book and wearing the cloth, and you have the old school pews and the old school organ and the old school hymnals and all that, keeping to the traditions kind of stuff, lighting the candles and all these, very somber traditions of sorts. But it was just it's a place that you go on Sundays, and I didn't even really know anybody else at the church. I met like 2 people there when I went to church there. Nobody really talked to each other. It was like we were there on Sunday and that was it. Like the church I belong to now is much more about living out the message of Jesus, and actually being a body of believers that helps each other and supports each other outside of the church as well, and doing a lot more community outreach and doing a lot more things to get us involved with each other and get together, Mike hit drop, mic drop right there. Want to talk strict? I was raised Catholic. Yeah, I agree, brother. I agree. So let's, I don't mean to just stop where I'm at, but in a way, I just kind of want to, I'm just going to jump from where we were to where we are right now. We're just going to jump to 5 years. Okay. I know there's a long journey there. There's a lot of stuff we could go through, but I don't want this to go freaking hours and hours and hours and hours here. I knew I was going to go for about 2 hours, but I just want to jump to now and just say that today, I have this beautiful home. I have the woman of my dreams. I have these 2 doggies. I'm so thankful that today in my recovery that I have, I mean, these beautiful things that I have, these material things are all wonderful, but the relationship I have with God, the open-mindedness that I've developed to realizing that, there's plenty of areas in my life that can change. The realization that God's plans are so much bigger than ours. We have these plans for our life that we're like, wow, look, this is my plan. And we really think we're pushing ourselves. I really thought, for me anyways, I always thought I was pushing myself, and God looks at my plans and he's like, that's cute. I have so much better for you though, and to realize that, that with God in my life, things get so much better. They always will. What can I say? 5 years of recovery. It's weird when I just drop it on myself like that. What can I say about my 5 years of recovery? It doesn't really matter how you work it. Just work it. Everybody puts all these limits on each other, or these limits on recovery, or these limits of what you can be and what you can do and how you have to live your life and how your recovery has to look, and these things that you have to do in order to make it. I think there's some things that are kind of pivotal things that I think you should do in recovery, but there's always an exception to the rule. There's always somebody that's going to say, actually, that part you don't have to do because I did that. I didn't do that and I'm doing fine. You know what I mean? There's always going to be somebody that can switch it up. So make sure that you just do what's right for you. Work what's right for you. No matter what anybody says. And you can be whoever you want to be, and you can reach your dreams, you can reach your goals, whatever they are. Yeah, I'm not here to tell you how you have to work your recovery. I'm just here, I don't want to set goals for you. How about that? Let me say that. I'm not here to set goals for you. I'm here to help you reach your goals, whatever they are, and however you plan to get there. I'm here to support you in that and let you know that you can freaking do it. And don't let anybody hold you back. Don't let anybody tell you can't do something. Don't even let yourself tell you can't do something, because that's ends up being our biggest hater a lot of times, our biggest freaking naysayer, our biggest freaking person who cuts us down is ourselves. That is the number one person who's holding you back in your life and who's talking shit about you and being a critic and all that other stuff. A lot of times we build these ideas in our head that, oh, everybody's saying this about me or everybody's saying that about me. And at the end of the day, you realize that, no, they're not. You're saying that about you, So make sure that you know who's got your back. Make sure that you got your back. And I know you won't all the time, but try to keep it that way, right? Yeah. I don't know what else to say here. So I'm just going to end this. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning, guys. I hope you guys got something good out of this. I love you all. Thank you for all the congratulations on my 5 years. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay clean.